So Kandi Burruss was a part of Escape, the girl group in the 90s, R&B group, and they had a huge success. So she had a career, she had a name long before she got into Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's also a successful music writer and producer. She's done some really big songs. Scrubs, her and her bandmate Tiny wrote that song together. That was a huge song for TLC, and I'm sure that's a huge song for her to this day. That song is being played somewhere. She's probably gotten so much money off that. She also did Bills, Bills, Bills by Destiny's Child. So she's had some music out there that we know of that you may not have known that Kandi has written. Kandi's always been about her money. She always made that very clear on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't think she's made any secrets about that. You've seen her business ventures. You've seen her always trying to make sure she's got that secured. And it probably, stems from never wanting to be in a situation where you can't take care of yourself and wanting to make sure you're always good. And part of that is just really never turning down any opportunities unless you absolutely have to make money. And I get it, especially when you have kids, you got to do what you got to do. But it looks like Todd is trying to use that against her, saying that, she's not really physically there to be able to watch the kids. And he wants to be able to have, I want to say, temporary full custody of the kids until they can get to court and get a arrangement worked out, because they're not seeing eye to eye on how that should work for the children. Kandi says he don't pay anything. He's not helping out towards anything. He's just doing all this, showing that he's taking the kids places and doing stuff with them just for social media. Like he's pretty much capping and just using that to front like he's really doing everything, but it's really her holding it down. And it's super sad when you see relationships like this resort to trying to call out each other and say these things about each other, because at one time they were truly like in love with each other, and I thought they had such a cute relationship, and they ended up having kids together. And to watch them now kind of going back and forth and at each other like this, or making these comments about each other like this, it's a little bit sad. But it's just a story that's just too common when it comes to these reality TV shows or these celebrity types of relationships. And they go bad, they play out in front of you when they're falling in love, and when they are getting a divorce or falling out of love, it's playing out in front of you as well. I just couldn't imagine having my good and bad days and my whole, relationship business played out in front of the world like this. But more kudos to them. It just could not be me. But we're going to see, because Todd said, you talking about me not paying anything, living in your guest house, allegedly being a squatter. You kicked me out of the main house. So let's get into what he's saying here. This is reporting from TMZ. Kandi Burruss' estranged husband, Todd Tucker's fighting back at her claim he's living rent-free in her guest house, saying she's the one who kicked him out of the main house without notice. TMZ has learned. I think both sides are feeding stories to TMZ. Todd filed court docs responding to Kandi's claim he was essentially squatting in her guest house at her Atlanta property. In his filing, Todd admitted he was living in the guest house, but he said it was because Kandi, quote, unilaterally removed him, end quote, from the main home by directing her family members to relocate his stuff without his consent and without court intervention. So he basically saying she got some people together and went on and made that decision for him and moved him on out. Now, they did play a clip. I saw a clip on YouTube where he was signing the prenup when they were getting married. And he said in there, so I got to leave the house in 30 days if we're not going to be together. And she's like, yeah, what other couples do you see staying together after you break up, still living together? He's like, well, what if I can't find a place in 30 days? And she's like, all right, well, you could go into the guest house. Not saying that makes it okay, but knowing her and putting that on tape, I'm curious if she's going to bring it up. Like, well, I said, if we're not going to be together, you're not going to live in the main house. I mean, it makes sense. I would probably do the same. I don't know if I'd move the stuff without their consent, though. That part, I don't know about, but I would definitely say we can't be sharing in the same space. And I'm sure her guest house is probably just as nice. Is not going to be living in nothing that's not up to the same standards, just not going to be as big as the main house. But you got to kind of use your own money, Todd, maybe, and then you could upgrade. But for the time being, that may be where you got to stay. But let's get back into the story. Todd said he did not voluntarily leave the home, but did not fight Kandi about it in order to, quote, preserve peace and stability, end quote. Todd says Kandi has been in New York working on a Broadway project while he's been in Georgia caring for the kids. As TMZ first reported, Kandi slammed Todd, claiming he wasn't paying a dime in rent or bills connected to the property. She also asserts he hasn't helped with bills related to their kids, Ace and Blaze. Specifically, she says she's covered all expenses for 2 birthday parties thrown since the couple split late last year. In court docs, Todd alleged before the split they both added money into a bank account to use for expenses. He claims after the separation, Kandi told him she would stop using the account and would pay all the bills herself. So do you think that was a setup? I don't know if I believe it or not, but let's just pretend what Todd is saying is true. Do you think that was a setup by her saying that so that she could just make it seem like she was taking on all the expenses? But still, Todd could pay a bill, right? Because you'd have to know where the stuff is being paid to for the light bill and stuff. Does he not have access to pay those things too? Because he's got to know it's going to look bad on him if he can't show where he is contributing any money to those things. Because just saying, well, she's not using that account may not be sufficient enough. I don't know. Let me know. I'm not a divorce lawyer. We're just talking these things through. And then let's see what else the story has to say. Todd said Kandi now attempts to reframe and weaponize this self-created financial arrangement as evidence of financial instability or neglect, while timing and the sequence of events demonstrate otherwise. He says Kandi has been making nasty statements against him in an effort to shift the focus away from her extended and ongoing physical absence from the kids and her reliance on a third-party caregiver. I've heard this come up quite a bit of times in their story. What I'm a little bit unclear on is Kandi has probably always operated this way. I wonder if this is something new. I mean, the younger kids have not always been there throughout their relationship. There were times that they did not have them there, but since the younger kids have been born, has it been common for them to use nannies? I want to say that Kandi did mention that. I just don't understand why he's trying to make a big deal of that now, unless this whole angle is to try to get child support. I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. But I just think it's odd. If it was cool before, why is it a problem now, if that is the case? And let's get back into the story. Todd says the judge should give him primary legal and physical custody on a temporary basis until a permanent parenting arrangement is put in place. As TMZ previously reported, Kandi filed for divorce in November 2025. She demanded joint custody but switched her request to sole custody after Todd requested sole custody. So it doesn't look like this fairy tale is going to end as happy as I'd like to see it end, but we're going to be following this divorce. We're going to give you updates here as they become available, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did you like this couple? Did you follow them? What do you think about this divorce situation? Do you think Todd should just go out on his own and figure it out for himself and leave her with what she's got? Or do you think he should stay in the fight and try to get as much as he can? He's owed it. He was there. He has the right to it. Let me know what you think. As you come in, like the video, it's a free way to support the channel. It lets YouTube know that we are here. It puts us out in the algorithm. We really appreciate the support. We're trying to get to 2,000 followers. Thank you to everybody that has watched, engaged. Check out my communities tab. I post on there regularly. Check out my shorts. Put some stories on there as well. We'll see you guys later on tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you later.